Tonight we visit a process called active imagination and my learnings post that. It's a little exercise that you guys can do from a great man called Carl Jung. We also go through a bit of an update over what's been happening the last week and a half and why the R.Y.S.E movement has changed.
Welcome to the R.Y.S.E Movement Podcast, a place where men just like you learn to raise your standards everywhere.
Good evening, welcome to another episode of the R.Y.S.E Movement Podcast. I'm Dave, and let's start with why things have changed. I was doing some meditation last week, and this meditation was super profound, super vivid and detailed and all these sorts of things. It was like, honestly, it was really psychedelic as well. I was sitting with, I don't know what, let's call it an entity, consciousness, something like that. And in that time, I was asked a bunch of questions for why I'm doing things in the R.Y.S.E movement for men only. And I kind of rationalized with it. I kind of went back and forth with it, with all these justifications, when realistically, what I need to be doing is open it up to everyone. That's what I'm about. I'm about helping everyone. I was doing that before the R.Y.S.E movement. I was doing it outside of the R.Y.S.E movement. So I'm going to be continuing inside of the R.Y.S.E movement. I will still be doing men-specific content, but for the women that have men in your lives, that's the content for you to be able to help him. Perhaps we will still do men's workshops and things like that, but I'm going to be moving in 2024 into a whole range of different things. We've got some events coming up in the new year that are pretty close to ready to launch into awareness. There's a new program coming out. There's so much cool shit happening with the R.Y.S.E movement. It's not even funny. And I guess I kind of want to say where that all comes from. The reason for the changes, the meditation, everything like that. I didn't want to do one of these podcasts talking all about my ADHD diagnosis, but that's what comes to mind tonight. I'm going to try and skim over it as much as I can, but it does intertwine into the R.Y.S.E movement. Last week when I got diagnosed ADHD, it was like clarity. It was like all of a sudden I'd opened up the big chest that I'd been searching for. It's like this weight was lifted off my shoulders. A light switch turned on and all of a sudden there was awareness around things that had been there my whole life. There was identification and classification of almost everything that's ever happened in my life. If you've never been diagnosed ADHD, ASD, bipolar, any of these sorts of things, if you've never been diagnosed with these sorts of things, you possibly can't understand how I feel right now. I have validation, which is not something that I ever really gave a shit about. I always knew I was different, but the validation to show me why I'm so different, why my brain works the way that it works, why my mind, my psyche works the way that it works, my behavior, just why everything. All of a sudden, there's been a lamp that has been turned on and I have this beautiful awareness around all these things. A couple of weeks ago, it was loads of frustration, some resentment, bitterness, also, what else? What other emotions were present? Some embarrassment, some shame. It's like, I felt ashamed that I didn't raise this question before when I know how many times I'd struggled with my mental health. That diagnosis on Monday and prescriptions of Ritalin that I've been taking for the last week, and it's life-changing, absolutely life-changing. It's so hard to describe the way that I'm feeling right now because I feel like this weight's been lifted off my shoulders. It's huge. It's freed up so much mental anguish into why I'm such a weird dude. It's really nice. It's really nice. So, tying into the meditation piece. The meditation that I had, the depth that I got to, was 100% because my mind was stimulated in the right way. I dropped straight into meditation for the first time in my life. And I was stimulated. Usually when I have a coffee or a double espresso or something like that, I can't meditate for a good, 3-4 hours after I've had the coffee. I meditated straight after I had my Ritalin, like 15 minutes after. And it kicked straight in and I dropped down into this beautiful space. And that's where I had the interactions. Why am I doing the R.Y.S.E Movement for Men? And now it's transformed. Just that alone is worth the $2,500 that I've invested into myself, into this diagnosis, just to be able to meditate this way. The level of self-introspection, meditation, hypnosis that I've gone through since getting diagnosis, since getting medicated for ADHD, has been, honestly, that's been the most transformative thing out of all of it. Like, yeah, the ADHD thing, like cool, it's kind of obvious that I'm a little bit erratic, a little bit impulsive. I can hyper-focus like a motherfucker. But that aside, just the touch, just the ability to be able to meditate and drop straight in, unheard of in my life. It's so fucking amazing. I'm so intrigued and excited to see what I can start venturing into with that side of consciousness exploration. And I know this is a very, sort of mainstream sort of channel that I've built here where we're talking about all the things that we talk about. And I'm talking about consciousness right now in my experience. It's profound. Honestly, I haven't brought enough attention to hypnosis and meditation with you guys. I've brought it up time and time again, but those are the episodes that don't perform very well. They're the ones that I don't get comments or DMs or emails about. But I'm going to talk about it a little bit more in the future. If you don't meditate, if you don't do hypnosis, you are selling yourself short from such amazing experiences, transcendental experiences, mystical experiences, and also the ability to reprogram your subconscious. To be able to have almost a bulletproof way of reprogramming your subconscious it feels like cheat codes. That's what it is. When you have the ability to dive into hypnosis, to have someone guide you through, put suggestions in, transform your subconscious, do emotional checkups, let some things go, it's like playing a video game. That's what hypnosis is. You are playing a game. I can't talk about it enough. So I'm going to be talking about it in future podcast episodes, and more transformational work, more work in line with health and wellness, because that's what I'm about. That's my whole life's purpose. I know that I can reach my life's purpose with removing generational trauma by health and wellness. I know that that's the ticket. I just know. So I'm going to have a quick drink and then get into this tattoo here and the reason for Carl Jung's active imagination exercise tonight. So on my forearm here, spoken about him on the podcast before, his name's Jackal. He's also Anubis, the god of the underworld, which is very fitting because it is a representation of my subconscious, of my unconscious mind. I have a direct link to be able to talk to and communicate with my subconscious mind thanks to a book called The Red Book from Carl Jung. I don't actually have it on my bookshelf. I lent it to someone. And also other practices that I've done with, self-hypnosis work and stuff like that. But the Red Book really opened my eyes. Talking about the practice of active imagination that's inside of the book, it intrigued me to be able to have another avenue outside of hypnosis and NLP and all these other things that I do to be able to talk to my unconscious. So the exercise, active imagination. I don't know if I'm actually going to show you guys on it. Depends on how much it goes into these sorts of things. I might keep it private, but if you don't see it, you know what happened. Active imagination, I learnt from Carl Jung's book, The Red Book, and active imagination allowed me to be able to meet this bloke. So I had a dream in 2020, end of September, start of October, and Jackal presented himself to me. Anubis presented himself to me, the god of the underworld, my subconscious. Presented himself to me in the desert of nothingness. There was just a vast wasteland around, and he was sitting, God knows what, it was like a ball of light sort of thing, directly in front of me. And he said to me, how long is it going to take before you start talking with me, before you start communicating with me? And I thought, what in the absolute shit is this? Like, this is the most lucid, dream I've ever had. And I've been through some stuff, as you guys are well aware on the podcast. And he said, I've been waiting for you for years. which is interesting. Explains my fascination with ancient Egypt. And we had this dialogue that went through all aspects of my life, all aspects of my psyche, relationships, all these sorts of things. And this was in the dream space. And I swear it was hours that went by. Hours and hours that I was with him. I only slept like 6 hours that night. I woke up earlier. I woke up at 3:30 in the morning, all because that dream, it woke me up. And immediately, it was vivid. It was lifelike, uncanny lifelike. I knew I had to get him tattooed on me as a symbol. Like I've spoken about in the podcast before, I think tattoos for me are symbolic of what I've gone through in my life. It's like what I've walked through, except for the stupid Jin Kazama tattoo on my shoulder up here. And what other dumb ones do I have? This one here, the Spartan helmet. That was a bet that I made. Yeah, that's the only dumb tattoos that I've got. I should probably fix that. No, that's the impulsivity coming out. Thank you. I caught myself there. Brach wouldn't be very happy about that either. Okay, anyway, back to this one. So this tattoo here, it's Anubis. It's my direct connection to it. So tonight I'm going to show you guys the aftermath maybe, or whatever happens during the session with active imagination. But I'm going to play a bit of music. Actually, that's probably going to be copyrighted, so I'm not going to be able to put it on the podcast. I'm going to come back to you guys. When you see this come back, you know exactly what's happened. This is the key. You have to say goodbye. You have to let him go. All the things. Oh my God. Wow. That was something else. I'm a little bit dumbfounded right now. I think I'm going to put in a snippet here of what I experienced. This is going to sound so far-fetched, but it was God. Sorry guys, I'm still coming down to earth a little bit. That was amazing. That was so beautiful. There was so much love in that space. Oh, wow. So you can see quite how euphoric I am and how high I am. Honestly, I just feel like I'm floating on a cloud right now. That was such a beautiful experience. Thank you, Jackal. Thank you. Thank you to my unconscious. This is the type of work that is available to everyone. You all have a subconscious, unconscious mind. You can all foster a relationship with your unconscious, conscious mind. And it will help you transform your life. Just then, I let go of so much. I let go of so much that was holding me back. So much. I could feel like from head to toe, it was just tingles and pins and needles and energy rushing through me that just like made my skin crawl, made my hair stand on end, and it went in massive waves down my body, down over my legs and everything like that, and out into the earth. That was fucking profound. Sorry, this has been a bit of a weirder podcast, guys. I didn't plan this thing. I just thought, hey, what the hell? Let's try something tonight. I hope you got something out of it, because as far as I can tell, this has just been my ramblings and then me sitting with God. Have a good night.
Thank you for being with me today. Thank you for subscribing and leaving a review. It really helps us out. Until next time, take care. Much love.